1 second.
Welcome back, everybody, to Rockin' Bears. What do you think for the Super Bowl? Thanks for tuning in if you've been with us all season. It's been great to record with you every week of this season, Rock. It's been a good season, a lot of fun recording with you. How are you excited for this game or what?
Super Sunday!
Definitely.
All right, let's get started. We're going to kind of kick around back and forth here. First, we're going to talk about the San Francisco offense.
All right.
Jimmy G, I'll start it out, telegraphs his passes only through 8 last week. They didn't have to because the offensive line opened up holes that you could have ran through.
Yep.
And so there's a big question about this whole thing, but what do you think? Jimmy G doesn't have the wheels that Mahomes has, and fortunately for San Francisco, they played two quarterbacks. Cousins couldn't run. He was trapped. Aaron Rodgers escaped a few times second half when they were playing, back a little bit. Jimmy G doesn't have the wheels.
I don't think it's going to be as much of a factor. San Francisco is a run-first mentality offense. They pass when they have to. So that gives Jimmy G a little bit less pressure on his shoulders to carry the game, which I think is the inverse for Mahomes. I think all the pressure's on him. And I think some of the unspoken factors to this game, this is Jimmy G's third Super Bowl appearance. He already has 2 rings. So I think he's a little more calm and collected. It was as a backup behind Tom Brady,
right.
But he's following Tom Brady's mentality and going into this game, calm and collected.
Okay.
Just another week for him. So I think he's feeling less pressure than Mahomes and company. Only 2 of the Kansas City Chiefs have been to a Super Bowl before, which would be Suggs and when he was with Baltimore, and I don't know who the other guy is, but only 2 players have been to the Super Bowl for Kansas City.
All right.
Andy Reid's been there before, but hasn't lost. I think that kind of unspoken play off the field.
I'm digging it.
Will be different. And with Mostert, he was surfing through Green Bay, last game in the championship game, averaging 10 yards a run
against great defense.
Against good defenses,
great defenses,
too.
Right.
For Vikings and Green Bay, who don't give up a lot on the ground. Kansas City does give up a lot on the ground, and that was apparent versus the Titans for a little bit. And
they got the lead, and Henry got 62 yards.
Right, they shut him down.
They shut him down second half.
So quarterback play.
Wait, that 62 yards was first half. I think Tennessee had 97 total or something like that.
Yes.
But for getting all those yards in the first, Henry was stopped because they were behind.
Right.
I have one thing. If Jimmy G has to throw 20 times, San Francisco won't win.
Okay.
I'm going to give him 12 throws, and if Kansas City gets ahead, they probably won't. But if he has to pass 20 times, KC wins. I don't know who's going to win. We'll keep going with this.
Sure. Speaking about the passing game at Kansas City, Mahomes with 11 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. That's one of the best postseason records ever since 1950. And they didn't say who that stat was set by, but Mahomes is having a record-breaking postseason, and I think he's due for a pick. I think Sherman would love to get one off of him. And I think Mahomes is, like I predicted last week, I think he's ready to bust in the postseason. But that's enough about the passing game. Rock, what do you have up for us?
Well,
how about the coaching?
That's what I was going to say. Reid and Shanahan, both offensive-minded coaches. And certainly, here's the thing, and I said this last week, if Kansas City wins the toss, take the ball. You don't want San Francisco to get that first 7-minute drive and run for, 70 yards and have Mahomes and company sit on the bench. Andy, take the ball. Everybody likes to defer, which is what you said. What was that?
They like to defer because they like to take the momentum for the second half. That way, if they can score before half and get the ball back so you can get a 2-score, that's what they go for. I think I like your idea. Get the ball first, set the tone.
Yep.
Don't have your team having to come back from the very first possession of the game. So I think we agree on taking the ball first. And I said that for both teams. I think both teams want to set the tone rather than defer.
One thing with the coaching is Andy Reid, having fallen behind, has had to make halftime adjustments, which he's done very well. Shanahan hasn't. The run game's worked the whole time.
Yep.
So the fact that Jimmy G has thrown so few passes, that O-line, you even see Kittle get in there and blocking open holes.
Yep.
So I kind of think they're going to get 180 yards. Versus KC, it's just a question of what can Mahomes do.
Right, what can Mahomes do? Sure. And Mahomes has his targets. He has Hill, who's going to be, he's the fastest guy in the field, every week. So, and he had 2 touchdowns versus not versus Green Bay, versus Tennessee, and I think he even had 2 touchdowns the first week. So Hill's definitely been showing up in the postseason, because this year hasn't been like the past 2 years.
Okay,
but it's been good, not top notch, excellent.
Now, here's the thing with the San Francisco pass D. Because Mahomes has been the leading rusher both games, which is a little bit weird, but he's thrown for a whole bunch of 5 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns.
To keep it alive.
Right, but here's the thing: they can cover these guys, the San Francisco guys, for the original pattern, right? And then Tyreek and Kelsey, these guys know where to go.
Yeah.
Mahomes is much more savvy on a busted play, much more than Jimmy G. Jimmy G's going to look around and panic.
He's more of a pocket passer.
Yeah, but here's the thing: these guys will have big days if Mahomes can roll out successfully, because they're really great running broken patterns, and Mahomes is really savvy.
Right.
That said,
I don't think that's going to be an option against San Francisco. Bosa's going to contain the edge. I think San Francisco is going to be able to rush 4 and get to Mahomes.
That's what they did with the 6 sacks with Minnesota.
So now, I think that's going to be a
not so
factor.
fast. Not so fast, my friend. Not so fast.
All right, Corso, give it to me. Come on, Coach.
Here's the thing: they're talking about when San Francisco plays zone. Okay, I think zone's a pretty smart deal, because if you turn your back on the quarterback and they're rushing from the outside, Mahomes will probably be the leading rusher again, because he'll run up the middle. I don't think he's going to get his yards on rollout, because San Francisco is just too darn fast.
Right.
That's what I think. What do you think?
I don't think Mahomes runs up the middle. He's a big guy, but he's not.
Yeah, pocket elusive.
He rolls out and keeps drives alive. He looks like a younger Russell Wilson when he gets on the edge and makes guys miss to get a first down when he needs to. So I think that's where most of his rushing yards come from.
With San Fran only most of the time rushing 4, those linebackers who are really good, they're going to be watching the outside.
They're going to be responsible for double teaming Kelsey and the chip.
Well, what I'm saying is, when it's man to man and they've got their back turned to Mahomes, it doesn't have to be a scramble. That's just my thought.
Right, sure, but that's what I'm saying. They rush 4. They bring 7 back to fill up the holes in the backfield, because they can get pressure with 4. Bosa. Let's go ahead and talk about Bosa. This is his homecoming. He's from Miami. He played at Miami High School, same high school as the playmaker, Michael Irvin, and he's ready to be home and do it for the home team crowd. From the beginning of his draft class, he wanted to be the best player in his class. He wanted to be remembered for that. And I think he has a really strong chance of getting defensive MVP.
And his brother told him what?
His brother gave him some tips against rushing in Kansas City.
Yeah, because
his brother plays him twice a year. So he knows. I think there's some secret sauce to the Bosa family getting in the backfield and allowing the San Francisco secondary to do what they do, play their zone, play their man, and make it tough for enemy quarterbacks to be able to get the ball downfield with ease. And also on the topic of Miami, both Montana and Steve Young won their Super Bowls in Miami. So I think Jimmy G, it's sometimes the superstitions and history repeats itself. So
all right.
I think those are some more unspoken things.
All right, San Fran, when they play the man and they're going to double Kersey and Hill, Kelsey, the last game, Sammy Watkins was the leading receiver. So Mahomes knows where to go. This is one smart dude. And, Sherman, like I said, they're going to stop the quick 3-second pass.
Yeah.
They're going to stop that.
Right.
And Mahomes is either going to roll or juke or whatever. But anyway,
so talking about the tools on Kansas City's offense, if I'm San Francisco, if Kelsey ever lines up off the line of scrimmage, if he lines up in the slot or he goes wide, you put Sherman on him. Sherman's not the fastest guy, but he's big and tall, and I think he can contain Kelsey one-on-one. And if they double it, then they can double Tyreek without committing too much on defense.
Yep.
And then allowing the zone to still stay true and be able to stop, Sammy Watkins and stop the running game with their 4 guys and a linebacker or 2. So I think San Francisco is more primed to handle Kansas City then Kansas City's defense is primed to handle San Francisco's offense.
Depending if they take an early lead, the whole thing changes, which is why take the ball, Andy.
Yeah. Even when San Francisco plays conservatively, like we saw against Green Bay, they can still run the ball twice and get a first down.
Absolutely.
Averaging 5 to 10 yards a carry. Mozart, he averaged 5.2 during the whole regular season. So he gets a lot of yards per carry, let alone his performance against Green Bay, where he averaged over 10 yards a carry.
Setting the championship game record.
Yeah, so I think San Francisco's running game is going to be strong. Kansas City hasn't been the best against runners. We saw that against Houston in the regular season, and in the playoffs they were better, but they've gotten a lot better against the pass. That's true.
Okay.
But the run defense has been average all season long. So I think San Francisco is going to be able to control the clock. I think San Francisco, I'm making their first prediction, is going to win by 2 touchdowns. And maybe not as early. They might, kind of come back and get some. Kansas City has been playing comeback all playoffs.
Well,
the 24-point deficit.
That was a fluke. That was a turnover.
That was a fluke, but that's still a lot of points to come back against, which they did.
Yes, which they did.
And also being down against the Titans, a touchdown or 10 points on average for a while until the second half where they made those nice adjustments.
They were down 11 and then they went up 21, right? Yeah.
Kansas City, they can't play catch up against San Francisco.
I agree with that.
That's why we both agree on take the ball first.
Take the ball.
Andy. And I think if Kansas City is going to have a glimpse of a victory, it's going to have to come from the defense. They're going to have to get a turnover to go ahead and change momentum to keep Kansas City with the ball so Mahomes can keep drives alive and not allow San Francisco to dominate possession.
Well, okay, let's make you already predicted who is going to win San Fran by 2 touchdowns. I think San Francisco will win also, but I like Mahomes and I like Andy Reid, and boy, does this guy deserve it. So I don't know if I'm going to bet against my heart and take San Francisco. I was going to flip a coin. Swear to God, I was going to.
It's a coin toss.
Heads for San Francisco. Well,
the line came out at
Kansas City might win by 17. San Francisco might win by 7 or 10, but because of Mahomes and the comeback anyway, I'm not going to make my prediction yet, but let's do an MVP prediction. I've got my dark horse is
Deebo Samuel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Offensive MVP. That sounds like a good shot. I like Kelsey. I think he has a chance to get 2 touchdowns in the red zone. If he, it all depends on what happens because if Mahomes throws 4 touchdowns, then it'll be Mahomes.
Of course. That
defensive MVP is going to go to
like I said, Deebo was my dark horse. If Mahomes throws 4 touchdowns and they win, then he gets it.
They can throw 4 touchdowns and not win.
They usually give the MVP to somebody on the winning team.
Offensive and defensive MVP. I think regardless of the outcome, defensive MVP is going to be Sherman or Bosa. One of those guys are going to have a huge game. It might not be both of them, but one of them will. I think Bosa is probably the most primed to make Patrick have a little sweat on his brow, like he was sweating during interviews.
All right, I'm going to make my prediction before we get off. But first, I want to talk about the commercials, which used to be so much fun. Now, Trump and Bloomberg are buying millions of dollars worth of time. How they got that at the last minute is beyond me. But boy, oh boy, you talk. I sure hope that they don't slow the game down to make extra money, because that kind of ruins the rhythm.
Yeah.
And what do you say about the San Francisco coaching staff, Matt? That was an interesting thought.
San Francisco coaching staff, well, there's 2 first-time evers, and one in sports history, the second in NFL history. The first time in sports history are a father and son both going to the championship as a coach.
Okay.
Shanahan and then his son has his first Super Bowl appearance. And my prediction may be of many. San Francisco looks like they could be a new dynasty, kind of
Both
refreshing
teams
themselves
could be,
from the 90s glory of Steve Young and Jerry Rice and company. And then San Francisco also the first female coach to ever go to the Super Bowl. So I like that, and I think that's some nice to see some diversity in the NFL and some father and son duos.
Hey, there's one thing we forgot about the KC defense. They've got 3 pretty big stars: Frank Clark, Tyrann Mathieu, and Chris Jones. Stay on side, Chris, you knucklehead. Anyway, I don't think they're going to stop the running game. Like I said, only way to do that is get a lead and force Jimmy to throw 20 times, and you might win. Mm-hmm. Okay, my prediction, as we're going to be running out of time soon, it's been a wonderful. I'm really excited. I guess I'm going to take Kansas City because I'm going to play my heart. This way I cover my ass. I'm taking Kansas City, but I think San Francisco will win.
There you go. Okay, I like that. Yeah, I'm cheering for both teams. I just want
Yeah.
a good game. I think San Francisco has more tools to beat Kansas City. If Kansas City, if they keep the magic alive, the comeback magic, and Mahomes goes 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, it could go Kansas City's way. But I think Sherman would like to shut down Mahomes because he's coming towards the end of his career.
Number 1 offense versus number 1 defense 14 times. Number 1 defense has won, except for when Joe Montana smoked Denver 55-10.
Okay.
And Mahomes is right there. We're going to be signing off soon. It's been wonderful.
Thanks for tuning in.
And
see you next season. Rock and Behr.
Hopefully, I'll still be here.
Signing off. Super Bowl. Live.